Okay, this is a very special song from Gregory Alan Isaacoff, and first heard my son Benjamin do it.
You mean AJ?
Yeah, I mean AJ. Benjamin's one behind the camera. So, and thank you, Benjamin, for being my videographer for this. If you want to know, Benjamin, I usually open up my YouTube channel videos, the one where I'm with my back to the turntable. I usually open that up with a song, and this is what I'm going to use this for. Intro, it's a cover. I have done a couple of my originals, but this is a cover of a Gregory Alan Isaacoff song. And it's called Second Chances. All of my heroes set up straight. They stare at the ground, they radiate. Me, I'm mumbling in the kitchen for the sun to pay up. Lonely as a ring on a cold coffee cup. I'm some sick hound digging for bones. Word for second chances, we'd all be alone. My hands, they were strangers lost in the night. They're waving around in the dusty light. I'm waiting in the wings while the trees undress, cupping my ear to hear the wind confess. I'm a ghost in the garden, scaring the crows. If it weren't for second chances, we'd all be alone. I'm running from nothing, no thoughts in my mind. Oh, my heart was all black, I saw something shine. Thought that part was yours, but it just might be mine. I could share it with you if you gave me the time. I'm all blood and knuckles, longing for home. If it weren't for second chances, we'd all be alone. I'm a shot through the dark, I'm a black sinkhole. If it weren't for second chances, we'd all be alone. If it weren't for second chances, we'd all be alone. Alone, all alone. All right, thank y'all. Now let's proceed to the video, the main part of the video that you're going to watch right now. This video, and I got some notes, I had to make notes for this one, because the subject is so deep, and it goes all over the place when you're talking about genres of music. What not the record label, but putting a label on the genre, what kind of music it is, what style it is. Back when I started listening to records in the early 70s, kind of before I went in the Navy, I didn't know what genre it was. I knew what rock was. I listened to classic rock back then, but it was just music to me. If it happened to be bluegrass, it was bluegrass. If it happened to be something with I mean, if it had a banjo in it, it was bluegrass. If it had an electric guitar, it was probably rock. If it had horns, I didn't listen to it because I wasn't into jazz. I'm not into jazz, I guess. So anyway, I decided to do this, and I'm hoping it ain't going to be very long, but I have some notes, and we're going to start off talking about music subgenres explained for beginners. Okay, I'm a beginner at this. I didn't know what all these genres were until I got back to the turntable, and that was in December of 2025, late December. I decided to make a comeback, or not make a comeback, to return to listening to records again, and I started my hunt for all the records that I used to listen to back in the day. During 1973 to 1979, I was in the Navy on a submarine stationed in North Charleston, South Carolina. But we flew from there to Rota, Spain, and the crews exchanged, blue crew and gold crew. I was on the blue crew. We exchanged crews. The other crew flew back to North Charleston. It was the Charleston Naval Base. And we had some time off. And I had a turntable back then when I was back in my wife back in port, and would listen to records then. Got out of habit of listening to them. Other things started happening. I met a good friend of mine who's no longer with us, who got me into bass fishing. I got away from record listening. Spent another 5-6 years in the Navy. Got out. Got divorced. Blah blah blah. Yada yada yada. And decided to get back to listening to records, as I mentioned. I didn't know what genres were back then, so when I'm looking for records, and in my process of finding the records that I had back then, I come across all these different names for the genres, for what style it is. And it's like, oh, that's that? Well, I thought it was just rock, or that's that. I just thought it was just kind of Americana, kind of folky. I didn't know it had all these. Anyway, I got a list here, and this isn't a complete list. It's not a scientific excursion into the genres either. I did a little research. Basically, asked ChatGPT to help me find list some genres and then give definitions. And then I went through some records that I have, kind of matched them up with, if I had them, I kind of matched them up with the genres here. So we're going to go with synth pop. I guess synth could be short for synthesizer pop music, I guess. It's driven primarily by synthesizers. Electronic sounds instead of traditional guitars. Became huge in 1980s, and often sounds catchy, polished, futuristic, or danceable. Okay, and I like to dance, so I guess maybe I was listening to synth pop and didn't know it. Okay, and then the bands that kind of it gave me the bands to think of as you're thinking of synth pop: Depeche Mode, Aha, and Pet Shop Boys. I actually have an Aha right here, and it's Aha, Hunting High and Low.
When I first heard the hits on it, "Take on Me," that was a big hit, and I remember seeing a video of it, probably on MTV, I guess, or VH1, back when music videos was big. But it was 19. I wish I could read that. The print is so little on this record label. Synth pop. Aha. I would have. Who would have known? I would have never. When I first heard "Take on Me," I wouldn't have called it synth pop. I had no idea what synth pop was. So I guess Aha, Depeche Mode is synth pop. All right, the next genre, grunge. Grunge. Heavy guitar rock with raw emotion and intentionally polished or intentionally unpolished sound. Exploded out of Seattle, early 90s, often expresses alienation, frustration, or introspection. When I'm listening to stuff like that, they're giving an example of the band. Think of Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Nirvana. I mean, I've heard, especially Nirvana and Pearl Jam, I heard their hits off of their, when they was popular. My thought wasn't, oh, that's grunge rock. It was like, that's good, I like that, that sounds pretty good. So, again, as I mentioned earlier, when I started getting back into curating the records that I had listened to back in the day and gathering them up, and started seeing all these genres listed for what the record that I listened to was, regular rock or bluegrass or folk, and then seeing all these genres, I got kind of confused, and I thought, man, I'm gonna do a little research and maybe put a video together about it. So and that's what this is. Okay, the third one they're giving out for a subgenre, shoegaze, and when I first I got a pedal board over here for my Fender Stratocaster, and I love ambient guitar, drone, just, think of Stars of the Lid, Low Sill, ambient guitar where you hear a drone and it's just either a constant tone, or you might hear some volume highs and lows. Very rarely you hear vocals. Every now and then you'll hear a background vocal. But I looked up, I was searching for pedals and pedal boards and things. I came across the term shoegaze. And according to what I researched, it's atmospheric rock music where layers of heavy guitars create a dreamy wall of sound. That's a pretty good definition. And it says the name came from musicians staring down at their effects pedals during performances. And I remember reading that about shoegaze, like, these bands are up there playing their, they gave some examples. My Bloody Valentine, Slow Dive, the band Ride, and I'm going to add a band called Hammock, one of my favorite for that type of a dreamy sound. And I guess if you would go to hear them, or they would play live, the guitarist would be there and just make these dreamy sounds as he stared down at his pedal board, and you couldn't see nothing, or you thought he was looking at his shoe, I guess, or something. But I haven't been to enough concerts even back then to notice. I didn't get really up close. The tickets were too expensive to get real close to the stage, so I never looked at the musicians looking down at there. Never noticed that. Of course, I've never been to bands like My Bloody Valentine and watched them live, or Hammock. So anyway, shoegaze. And I don't have any example albums for that genre, so go on Spotify and look up Hammock. I would ask you to do that. Okay, and then number 4, they have the fourth one I'd like to bring to your attention. I think I got I think I picked out 10 to, yeah, no, 12 here. But anyway, Dream Pop. Dream Pop focuses on atmosphere, softness, and so another thing, before I go any further, a lot of these, they meld into each other, like the shoegaze would, I mean, it was atmospheric too, so it could be dream pop, but softness and emotional mood more than strong rhythm or aggressive energy. Feels floating, cinematic, and ethereal. Same way ambient guitar, like Hammock Band, the Low Sill, Stars of the Lid. Look up those bands. I would call that dream something. Maybe not pop, but airy vocals, reverb, lots of reverb, lush textures. I love reverb. Period. I don't care if it's coming out of your voice, the singer's voice, his guitar, his pedals, drums, keyboards. Put reverb in. I'm going to listen to it. It's in it. Some of the bands you can think of: Cocteau Twins. I don't think I have any of them. Beach House. I've never listened to any of their stuff, but I do have 2 albums by a group called Cigarettes After Sex. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot to show one of the I think it was the Shoegaze Records. No, what band was it? It was, yeah, it was grunge. I forgot to show this record that I have that, you know, you consider it grunge. I never knew of Pearl Jam as being grunge, but I guess this record is considered grunge. So there's that. And the other album I have by a wonderful group, probably my favorite, if you want to call it what I just mentioned, the genre I just mentioned, dream pop. It's just gorgeous. It's just, I don't know. It's airy vocals, reverb, lush textures, and it's Cigarettes After Sex. This came out 2024. If you've not heard of this group, I highly recommend you listen to them. If you like ethereal, lush, textured music, this record is phenomenal. Absolutely gorgeous. Highly recommend it. So get you some Cigarettes After Sex. Go listen to it. It's a fantastic record. You'll love it if you like that genre. Okay, after Dream Pop, that was number 5. Number 5. That was Dream Pop was number 4. Number 5 would be indie rock. Again, takes in a whole lot of other genres, I think. Originally meaning music released independently from major labels. Indie rock eventually became its own sound, often creative, quirky, introspective, less commercially polished than mainstream rock. And I have a couple of them for what they say the bands are indie rock. The Smiths and Death Cab for Cutie. I have them. Here's a favorite Death Cab for Cutie, and there's the Smiths. Let me get these 2. Transatlanticism, if you've not heard this group, Death Cab for Cutie, then please check them out. Double album set here. 2013 is when this came out. My son AJ, also a big, huge fan, but album artwork, isn't that cool? I guess you can consider that indie rock. Who knew? I didn't know when I first heard it. Just thought it was good music. Good music. And another group I had no idea until I came across a couple of albums in my brother-in-law's basement of the farmhouse. I had I had a couple of brother-in-laws. The brother-in-law, one of my brother-in-laws, Mormon, he did his service, I think in where was he at? No, it wasn't Guam, but he had to do, you know, sabbatical and go out of country, and he came across a couple of the Smiths records. This is The Queen is Dead. Fantastic album. I never had heard of these people. Morrissey is their lead singer, but they consider this indie. Check out some Smiths. That was indie rock. Okay, then we got lo-fi music. Lo-fi embraces imperfections in recording quality, hiss, crackle, tape noise, rough textures. Instead of sounding bad, it creates warmth, nostalgia, and intimacy. All vinyl creates warmth, nostalgia, and intimacy for me. Most vinyl that I listen to since I've gotten back to listening to vinyl. Sounds like soft beats, vinyl crackle, mellow atmosphere. I never heard any of these bands. Chill hop playlist. Well, I guess that's a playlist. Jay Dilla influence, whoever Jay Dilla was. Bedroom producers. Maybe you can go on Spotify and check out some of that, some lo-fi, if you want to. I don't know. It don't really sound interesting to me. Okay, we got number 7, post-rock. And that uses traditional rock instruments to create cinematic, evolving soundscapes instead of standard verse, chorus songs. Slow build-up. Sounds like, you know, they have slow build-ups, emotional crescendos, instrumental storytelling. Again, a lot of the music I listen to has slow builds, emotional crescendos, and instrumental storytelling. That's why I said earlier, all of these genres can be melded into one, in my view, to good music. If I hear it, I don't care if it's slow building or has an emotional crescendo. I like it. It's good music. Okay, think of bands like Explosions in the Sky, another great. I listen to them a lot. I don't have any of their records. I'd like to get some. Godspeed You, Black Emperor. My son AJ turned me onto them. Great band. If you listen to, if it's post rock, it's good music. And then Sigur Rós. I think they're from out of Sigur Rós. Look them up on Spotify. They're really good. I like their music. But that's post rock. Okay, and then we have number 8, gothic rock. Goth rock blends dark moods, atmospheric guitars. Again, there's that word atmospheric. Introspective. I think that's mentioned up there too. Despite the stereotype, it's often more emotional and artistic than scary. Sounds like you'll hear echoing guitars, moody bass lines, dramatic vocals. Okay. Think bands like The Cure, Bauhaus, which is a font, Bauhaus. I guess it's a band too. And Sisters of Mercy. I've heard stuff by The Cure. I can't remember any of the songs, but I've heard of that band. All right, number 9, we've got some punk. Punk rock, stripped down, rebellious. Yeah. Music focused on energy. Yeah. I guess punk rock, would that be you go hear them and there'd be like these mosh pits and they'd jump off the stage and everybody would, carry them around and pass the people around. They'd get back on the stage and jump off again. Was that punk? Fast songs, loud guitars, DIY spirit. Think of the Ramones, the Sex Pistols, the Clash, And I have a classic, probably one of the earliest, I guess you could consider, if you, I don't even know what they consider themselves to be, but to me, one of the earliest, I think, punk bands that I ever heard. Fantastic album is this one by X. Live at the Whiskey A Go Go at the fabulous Sunset Strip. And it is a fantastic album. Just kick butt. Let's go, man. Let's play it fast and loud. The guitarist on the, I can't think of, I mean, I had his, I could tell you his name, but I forget what it is. This one came out, but anyway, look up X Live at the Whiskey A Go Go. If you've not heard, if you want to hear some good, what I consider punk rock, get this record. It's fantastic. I love it. Good music, punk or no. Alrighty, and then we have new wave. I've heard the term, but I don't know if it's, maybe I've listened to some with new wave. Emerged after punk, but added pop sensibilities, art school creativity, and electronic elements. What it sounds like: catchy rhythms, quirky style, synths mixed with rock. Think Talking Heads and the Cars. This is Stop Making Sense, Talking Heads. I don't know if you've heard this one. This came out in 1984, and my copy is an original OG, which I'm glad to get. It has where are the songs? I'm sure it has one of the ones you probably heard on the radio. Psycho Killer. Yeah, I had a band. I was in a band that we did that one. People loved it. Burning Down the House. Them two there. Talking Heads. New wave. Would you consider that new? I don't know. The Cars. New wave. The Cars' greatest hits. Right here. Is that? I wouldn't. That's just good music to me. I mean, I must have said that 5, 6, 10, 8, 10 times. Just What I Need Is on this one. Good Times Roll. Let the good times roll. Drive. Another good one by the Cars. Really excellent. Excellent. The Cars' greatest hits. New wave. I wouldn't have thought new wave. It's music. I just decided to do this, look up these genres because I thought it was interesting to know all these, and I'm still not going to be able to, if I would hear a Cars song or Talking Heads, I wouldn't immediately think, oh, that's new wave. I wouldn't think that. Okay, we're going to go with trip hop. Trip hop blends hip hop beats with moody electronic textures and atmospheric vocals. There's an atmospheric word again. That adjective keeps popping up. Sounds like slow grooves, dark ambience, cinematic mood. Think of bands like Massive Attack, I've heard of them. Portishead, I've heard of them. Tricky, haven't heard of them, but I may look them up on Spotify. You know, some of these that I haven't heard of, I'll look them up on Spotify. Which, by the way, you can't see it, but maybe if I tilt the camera down a little, you can see an empty space right there. There's a big empty space where my receiver is not there anymore because it's being cleaned and tuned up. My SA500 vintage receiver that I love. Okay, we're gonna go with okay, number what number we trip hop was number 11, and then number 12. Now I do know this genre. I've heard of Americana. Probably most 70% of the music I listen to, maybe not that much, is Americana. It blends folk, country, blues, roots music into a sound that feels deeply tied to storytelling and American musical traditions. Jason Isbell, Jillian Welch, the Avett Brothers, maybe John Prine, Lucinda Williams. I could go on and on. But Jason Isbell, I picked up his recent solo album. Fan-frickin-tastic. Foxes in the Snow. Highly recommend Jason's Foxes in the Snow if you don't have this one. It came out, I think, 2025, last year I think it came out. His new one after his split with his wife, who played in the band with him with the Drive-By Truckers. Really, really great album here. It's just him and his guitar, him and an acoustic guitar. Nothing else. Nada. No drums, no bass, no nothing, no synth. It's just him and his guitar. 2025, yeah, that came out in 2025. Highly recommend this Jason Isbell, Foxes in the Snow, Americana. I would say yes. I can hear bands, and I would probably know if I hear him, I know, okay. But you know what? When he was with Drive-By Truckers, it was rock, and they do. I got a couple of maybe I don't think I have two. Maybe I have two of Drive-By Truckers. They're rock, but then again, they'll slow down and do one that sounds like it's Americana. So there you go. And okay, I have one more. Let me see here. So that was Americana. But they didn't include, I think, one that should have been included was, let me see here. I'll put it up right here. Alternative rock. That wasn't a genre listed when I asked ChatGPT to list me some. Alternative wasn't listed. But I've just, on my own, did a little research. Some consider it to be Southern indie, Southern independent rock, or one band immediately that I think they listed, and that I wouldn't disagree or agree that it's alternative, but I guess you could. Kings of Leon, Come Around Sundown. Picked this one up recently. Gatefold. Look at the boys. There they are. Kings of Leon. The rock blockbuster of the new season from the New York Times. So it's rock. It's not alternative. Alt rock. There you go. Kings of Leon, Come Around Sundown. My alternative, what I consider alternative. And so there you go, folks. That's my take on these music genres. They're, I don't know. You can't be real. I can't be real strict. I don't think anybody can be real strict when they say this is indie rock, this is punk, this is this is lo-fi, this is pop. You know, I mean, it could be so many different mixes of all of that. And to me, you get so many mixes of that. In my taste in music, it all equals to good music. If I hear it, no matter if it's Americana, dream pop, synth pop, grunge, if you want to consider it that, and I think it's good music, then I'll listen to it. So, there you have it. Thanks for watching. I hope this video didn't get too long. I hope you enjoyed the intro piece that I did, the cover. Hope you like that one. And stay tuned for either a short announcement about my Back to the Turntable channel. I will let you in on that much of it. Thanks for watching again, folks. Y'all take it easy. Be good to each other, and always remember, wherever you go, there you are. And until next time, y'all know the saying, because Marvelous Marv, who fishes for life. Good guy. Absolutely fantastic person. I'm going to meet him in person. He's going to fry me up some fish. So, until next time, until next video, y'all be easy. Peace.